Hey you guys, so this is gonna be, I guess, kind of a short video. Hey you guys, so this is gonna be, I guess, kind of a short video. I wanted to do a video on Sidney Drashin. That's what they call him, Drasher. That's not his name. Um, it's somebody my mom and my uncle knew like way back. I've heard both stories about him, and he was a big time promoter here in Jacksonville. Um, Promoted a lot of bands, especially at the old Coliseum or Gator Bowl, is what as people used to call it. Way back when I was younger. Um, so I started looking up stuff, what I can find of them on them. Couldn't find a whole lot of stuff. I've had to use like Google, see if he's on Wikipedia. There's nothing on him so far there that I've seen, which there's stuff that could be on there now. I've already done my research. Um, I wanted to do more than just share stories about him from my mom and my uncle's experience. And he's also, well, he didn't write a book. The wife he has now has written a book of stories that he has shared with him, with her. Excuse me, my mind's like not even know there today. Uh, just been really tired. Been filming for my mom a lot at work, and just kind of today I haven't been feeling the best either, and just yeah. Um, I bought the book on Amazon. My mom has it right now to read. I'm hoping to read some of it. I might just buy the book for myself because she wants to give that book to my uncle when we go up to see him in July. So hopefully, I told her I want to at least look through it, read what I can before we go up there. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping too. I've just been gassy too. Um, so we'll see. If nothing else, I can just buy the book again, just for myself, and just give the other one to my uncle when she's done. Um, I want to see if it mentions my uncle in there. Um, his name is Michael. Oh, well, I'll call him Uncle Michael, but he usually goes by Mike. To everybody that knows him, and so it should be interesting to see. I don't know if it will or not. Hopefully it does, because there's a book out there called "As I Recall" by Larry Stills, and it mentions my uncle in there, and they used to play in a band together when they were just starting out in the music business. Um, my uncle never really performed, although he can play drums. He ended up managing a band or a couple of bands later in life. Um, I could do multiple parts of stories on him alone, stuff he used to do, and he was, believe it or not, ran away to the circus and all. But it's not about him. Um, but this will probably take me a day or two to do a video, although it's not going to be that long. I want to share the stories after I tell you what I did. Information I did get. I even had to go on Ancestry.com to do it since I have a membership already. So that's a plus right there. Um, shoot, I don't know what I can get done now. So it will be out by this weekend for sure. It's Wednesday now. But I know the person that's going to replace me is going to be here in a little bit, within 30 minutes. So we'll see. So see you guys in a few minutes. Well, a few minutes as this in this video. Sorry, my hair's a mess. I went and washed my hair and all and needed it. And it really bothered to do too much with it. So born as Sidney Barry Drashin on March 8th, 1943, to parents Samuel H. Drashin and Mary Blattner Drashin, uh, and sibling to Robert Reuben Drashin, aka Bobby. He graduated from Inglewood High School. He would put together dances and other events for the youth at his school when he was attending, and he did very well at it. So much so that he wanted to go into the entertainment industry when he graduated, instead of doing what his dad wanted him to do, which was to run or help run the family produce business. By the time he was 18, Sidney's dad ended up dying from a car wreck. Not sure what happened to the produce store. Couldn't find anything about it or what the name was even. He ended up dying on November 13th, 1964. His parents married sometime in 1954. I didn't get a correct date except for the year, but they divorced in 1960. Um, anyways, his dad was born on October 2nd, 1917. Mary, his mother, was born on March 18th, 1919, to parents Sarah Snyder and Max Blattner, and she's the sister of Ethel Blattner Zimmerman. Mary died on June 16th, 2003. She was at one point a payroll clerk. Both Samuel H. and Mary Drashin are buried at the Jacksonville Jewish Center Memorial Park and Evergreen Cemetery. Sidney married Ellen Chambers, date unknown for the marriage. Her full name is Gwen Ellen Chambers. They have one daughter together. They divorced on March 27th, 1974, in Jacksonville, Florida. She ended up married to a man named Leland Ray. His last name is Hackney. On August 29th, 1981, in the same place, Jacksonville, Florida. He remarried as well to a woman named Jacqueline Ann Mulligan on December 20th, 1999, in Jacksonville, Florida. Drashin filed for his entertainment business, Jet Set Enterprises, Inc., on May 24th, 1966, and its office was located off of Cordova Avenue. It's a residential area, so I'm not giving the address because he stayed at the same place. The business ended up around July 26, 2012. He closed it down. Bobby, his brother, was married to Etta Falco. How you say the name is Falkow, and they have a daughter named Heidi Drashin. Sidney Drashin was voted best dressed in high school. Sidney was the president, treasurer, and director of the company. Jacqueline N. Drashner was the treasurer, secretary, and vice president. Bobby Drashin was the director and vice president, and Mary was the director and secretary of Jetset Enterprises, Inc. He promoted a ton of musical acts like Janis Joplin, 38 Special, Leonard Skinner's, the Rolling Stones, among other stars. He was involved in some way, shape, or form with Benji Sperling, who ended up living in Hollywood, Florida, and Lacey Vincent, who was the previous treasurer for Westside Management and Investment Corp., along with was over the Vincent brothers bands like Leonard Skinner, and one went on his own. That was Johnny Vincent. Is this so far what I've found online about him? I did find his mom's obituary, which she seems to be so sweet and pretty cool. So I want to share that with y'all. And I found one picture of his brother. I think it was from his obituary picture. Then I want to tell y'all some stories that both my mom and my uncle have shared with me about their experiences with Sidney. So this is her obituary. It's Mary Blattner Drashin, 84, passed away June 16th, 2003. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland, to Max and Sarah Blattner, raised in Orlando, and spent most of her life in Jacksonville. She retired from the Duval Jail as a corrections officer and was a longtime member of the Jacksonville Jewish Center. Mary was a blood drive volunteer in Orlando during World War II. They go to put, Mom was a loving mother and best friend to her sons, Bobby and Sidney B. Drashin. Mary owned her own ceramic studio and was a member of the Mr. and Mrs. Club. She was a founding member of the Florida Craftsman Club with Charlie Brown and others, raised toy poodles, and grew an enormous array of plants. Mary was preceded in death by her husband, Sam Drashin, sisters Jean Padever, I think I messed that one up, Ethel Zimmerman, and brother-in-law Stanley Zimmerman. Mary is survived by her sons Bobby and Sidney B. Drashin, his wife Jacqueline, brother-in-laws Joseph Potterer, grandchildren Sandy, Heidi Drashin, Eden, Chuck Cook, and one adorable great-grandson, Noah Cook. A graveside service will be held at 10 a.m. Friday, June 20th, 2003 at New Center Memorial Park, Evergreen Cemetery, 43rd at Liberty. Arrangements by Hardish Giddens, Mandarin Funeral Home, Dignity Guestbook, Jacksonville.com. So I will list my resources at the end of the video, the little note thing or description box, whatever you want to call it. So, my uncle Michael, his last name is Kinnaman. He goes by Mike. He, as a teenager, and young adult, was involved with music. He was a drummer in a band called the Mailbox, and I will put that in the description box because it's not the actual mailbox you put in the mail. Um, he went to the comic book club a lot and was around Leonard Skinner, 38 Special. He knew all of them. He met them there. That's how they got started. I think they played at other places too, but my uncle mainly played at the comic book club. So just with running in that kind of circle, he got to meet a lot of different bands. There's some of them ended up famous, some didn't. Um, but that's pretty much how he had met Sidney Drasher, because he did a lot of the promotions in Jacksonville. Um, Unfortunately, there was a lot of drugs, alcohol involved, that kind of lifestyle a lot of the rockers did and all. So please don't think I'm glorifying any of that stuff. Even if I'm laughing about stuff, people do stupid stuff when they're young a lot of times. Even when we get older, it's not that I condone it. And I feel like I have to, say that in advance, because I'm supposed to be Christian and all, but, he doesn't. Okay, guys, had to switch it up and do my video at home. Please excuse the mess back there. One of the cats decided to do that. And that's from where it is, the ceiling part. We had my ceiling fixed, and the painters tore up my ceiling thing, the paper stuff up there. So I gotta somehow get the rest of it down. So back to what I was saying about my uncle, my mom, and Sidney Drashin. And please excuse my brother. He's headphones on. He's playing video games. So I'm sorry if you hear a few choice words. So it was. I forgot where I left off at, but like I said, they met through the music industry here in Jacksonville. Um, so it's not glorifying drugs or anything like that, but they were into the pills and all that back in those days, and the other types of drugs. For certain reasons, my uncle fortunately got into them for a while. Then I'm sorry, that's my cat. She's got little allergies going on. Poor thing. So, anyways, he knew Leonard Skinner, the band too, and Lacey Vincent had him come and collect a few things when the crash happened, which I want to do a video on. I did an hour something video, but I think I want to redo that video and kind of make it shorter and yet detailed. Because there's a thing that the hospital they were taken to, they put a picture of my uncle in there, and he was mentioned he had to go to the hospital, identify them, and even Gina Odom was in there, like in the hospital room, being checked out. I think once he got well enough he can walk around, he did his rounds and checked on everybody else too. But yeah, my uncle's the one that had to do all that. So I'll share a story about that later. But I think just because having to see all that, he started doing stuff, and just so he will forget and not be reminded of what he had to see, because they were pretty messed up. I don't know how to really say it, but I want to be respectful too. So he got around Sydney that was doing the same stuff. I know one time, Sydney had, oh, sorry, my dandruff. Let's get on my nerves. So anyways, he would dig up different places in his yard, front and back, and would hide drugs in there. I know one time, I know my mom and one of her friends, since they were over on that side of town where he lived, she was like, "Hey, let's go see what my brother and Sydney's doing," because her friend knew him too, and knew my uncle, and they were in the dark. I'm sorry, it's kind of funny. It's not, but it is. They were in the dark with flashlights digging up the whole yard. And when mom drove by, she seen that, but she couldn't tell who it was. And she called Sydney, and she's like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but there are two people out there in your yard digging around." And he's like, "Yeah, that's us. You and your brother, me and my brother, me and your brother are looking for where I buried my drugs." She's like, "I should have figured." She called him when she got home. So by the time she got home and where she had to be, and she called him, so they were already in. Um, that didn't happen on one occasion, but several. Um, well, the house he was staying in now, the house looks completely different. Um, it's off of Cordova Street, the street or avenue. Anyways, it used to be a house that was built around a tree, a huge tree. So it looks like since then that's been, knocked down and rebuilt, and it's not around a tree anymore. But my mom thought it was the coolest house inside and out. Um, I know one story my uncle said that he went over there to do something, and Sydney had him put it's like a briefcase or a suitcase or something like that, kind of in between those sizes, and he didn't know what it was in there. Um, which he said himself he should have known better because knowing Sydney, he was always up to something. And in fact, there's a newspaper clipping where he got pulled over. Not my uncle, but Sydney. Was it pulled over? But he got arrested for cocaine. Like, he had that stuff on him. So, anyways, my uncle had to go do errands. He had to go through a toll. And he was sitting there talking to the guy at the toll booth. And, like, out of nowhere, like, just fell asleep. I don't know if it was just because he was tired or he took some pills. And I think he said he took some pills. He's telling these stories like last year, the last couple of years. So when he fell asleep, the guy he was talking to couldn't get him up, so he called the police. So they searched his vehicle while he was asleep. When he came to, they were going through that thing that Sidney put in his trunk, and it was a whole bunch of pills and a couple other stuff, illegal stuff, and he got thrown in jail. I think it was only for like overnight or for a week or something like that. If I memory can serve me right, it wasn't a whole long time. And his first call was, I think, to either my grandma to be bailed out or it was Sydney. I know he made those two calls, but I don't remember which one came first. But he's like, "Don't you ever put any of that stuff in my car, ever." And he's like, he was telling me, he's like, "Karen, knowing him, I should have known better. I shouldn't have let him done it, or I would have, should have, how do you put it? Should have opened it up and looked at it myself." But he was like, he kept telling me it was music stuff. It was music stuff. It was important. Don't lose it. Don't let nothing happen to it. And it wasn't nothing that he has said, but apparently, I guess somebody was onto him. And we have a local store called Winn-Dixie. It's a grocery store. The owner of Winn-Dixie lived across the street from Sydney, and he did not like Sydney at all. They couldn't care less. They're always having parties over there, or he was. So it was just been interesting. Even he's have told my mom, do not let him or Sydney talk her into always doing the errands for him and all, because he would take advantage of that. And But you know, he did it to just about everybody he could that will allow him to do that. And I know one time he had just gotten out of hospital or doctors, but he had to get a prescription and a newspaper. He wanted to get a newspaper while he was getting his prescription. He wanted my mom to take him to his regular spot. They knew him by name. Like, hey, Sidney, how you doing? Yeah, or Mr. Drashin. Yeah, what's up lately? You know, how you been? That kind of stuff. Um, my uncle almost told her no, but he's like, look, Sidney, if she takes you, just don't have her going everywhere for you. She can only go to the place to get your prescription and take you directly home, and she's got to leave from there. That's it. Cause, I think my was in a wreck himself and was at home and needed help, and had been divorced from his second, no, first wife, um, which is my cousin's mom. Um, so it's kind of funny because his my uncle's first wife's got the same name as Cindy's second wife's name, but spelled a little differently. So, he's like, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll, get sis, because they always call her sis. Um, so anyways, he agreed to it. So, my mom went and took him because he couldn't drive. He couldn't drive that day. And they get to the place to get his prescriptions. He gets his newspaper, lets my mom go, tells my mom to get whatever she wanted, that he'll put it on the tab or pay for it or whatever. So she's like, okay, I'll get a couple of magazines. Then she said she got like 2 or 3, I think, or 5 at the most. But he went paid for all that stuff. Got her in there, left and got her, she got him home. Then he started having her to do different stuff around the house. And she's like, hey, I need to get back to the house to my brother to help him. I was like, he's been in bed this whole time. He's been in bad wreck. He needs help. He needs somebody to cook for him. This, that, and the other. He's all right. I'll let you go. I'll let you go in a minute. But do this, do that for me. And I forgot what he had her doing. But so a little time goes by, and my uncle calls him and says, "Hey, is my sister still over there?" And he goes, "Yeah, she's right here. Yeah, she's about to leave." And he's like, "She better be on her way here." I thought, I'm calling the cops. Some time goes by. She still hadn't left. She still hadn't made it back to my uncle's house. Now, they lived on the same side of town, so it should not took that long to get from one place to the other, because they both were staying on the south side. Anyways, my uncle did what he said he was going to do. He called the police, told them that Sidney Drashin was holding my mom hostage, and that he would not let her leave. And they called him and saying that that they were the police department, that they were under an understanding that he was holding somebody against their will. And he's like, no, and he hit into the phone to my mom. It's like, hey, you can talk to him to let him know I'm not holding you hostage. It's the police. And my mom had to explain to him, oh no, he's not holding me hostage or anything like that. That she was just helping him out, that she's about to leave. And he didn't get arrested about it, but it scared him enough to like, hey, you need to go ahead and go. And he's seen that my uncle is serious about it, but he's done stuff like that. There's whole bunch of other stuff. I don't remember everything, but those, I guess because they've been repeated enough, I remember most of them. But it's they've had interesting times, and I'm pretty sure there's times there's stuff that happened that they don't remember. Um, Especially my uncle. Um, that guy, my uncle moved away eventually, and he moved to Tennessee, got away from that stuff, started over, started working at a church, and he got back into the music business and managing groups. And I'm probably gonna have to do a whole video just about my uncle because he's had such an interesting life. He'll be 76 in July, so yeah, maybe one day. I'm just gonna have to. That's gonna be a while. Um, Thank you for taking time to listen to my video and hanging in there. Because y'all don't have to watch it or listen to it. Um, Even if y'all just watch a few minutes of it or a minute or the whole thing, I really appreciate you guys for hanging there and listening and all that, and for subscribing. And those that like the video, thank you. Um, I'm hoping to do more um, things about Jacksonville. Um, Whenever I get a car, I was hoping to get one last year or this year, and it just hasn't worked out. I've been putting money aside for that, and I've been starting to look at cars this past week. Kind of in between a Nissan, a Toyota, and a Honda. One of those brands. I've seen one Nissan that I really like, but even the used ones are a little expensive. So, but when I had to do it, I've been sharing a car for several years now, and I'm finally getting where I can save some money. So it'll happen when it happens. Hopefully, I can do videos where I'm going to different places. I want to show people that Jacksonville is not a boring place to be. Um, I do the Only Duval page at on Facebook. I joined that. I noticed a lot lately that people are saying, "Oh, it's so boring here," and there's nothing to do. And it's people that has come here for a visit or they just moved here. It's not boring, and there's so many things that you can do that people don't really know about. Um, I want to show like not just the historical stuff. I really want to do that, but I want to show the fun stuff too, and all. But I want to at least talk about the different peoples and stuff and how Jacksonville came to be and what interesting history there is and all. Um, so, anyways, hopefully next week I can do like the landing, the Jacksonville landing, which sadly is no more. But there's a lot of. It's probably a short video, hopefully. Um, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to do long ones and short ones, so there's, you know, a good medium there for everybody. So appreciate you guys. See you guys later.